Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Bored and Annoyed. I'm Jackson.
And I'm home at the movies.
And this week we are going to be talking about our favorite films of the year.
Top 10.
Top 10, and some honorable mentions.
Yes.
That really wanted to sneak into my list, but didn't quite make it. I'm hoping you put them in your list so they get some recognition.
You're special. You almost made it. Bored and Annoyed.
But yeah, anyways, I'm going to let you kind of start off on this. We really didn't plan this too much. We don't have too much of an idea of how we're going to go about this.
Right.
So yeah, we're just going to kind of wing it.
Well, I think we'll both do our honorable mentions.
Okay.
So we'll see how this goes, because you might be very disappointed in some of my honorable mentions. Okay.
Hold on. Disappointed that they're even in the honorable mentions, or disappointed that they're not higher on your list?
Not higher. I think that's what you'll be experiencing. There will be one glaring omission on mine that you will think is an omission, but I just didn't love it. But so one of my honorable mentions is Black Panther.
Okay.
I thought it was a fantastic movie at the time, but it was one of those things where the final battle gets a little too CGI heavy.
Yeah, the fight scene at the end, especially with like the rhinos and stuff, drag it down quite a bit.
It did, because up to that point, I thought it was pretty phenomenal. And I would say that the problem with that movie is kind of the same problem of like The Dark Knight, where the villain is so interesting and the hero, by contrast, almost looks a little tame and a little boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Black Panther a lot, but
it is funny. You watch The Dark Knight now and you just wish it was like a Joker-centric movie.
Yeah, you just want more scenes of him.
Right.
But so that was one of my honorable mentions. Black Klansman.
Okay.
Was also one of my. I love that movie. I thought it was incredibly powerful near the end. But it was sort of a similar thing of like there were some parts that dragged a little bit, but it was a really great movie. A Quiet Place.
Okay.
I thought it was a pretty decent little thriller little movie. John Krasinski directed the hell out of that movie.
It was good.
I liked the creature design. I liked the suspense. And I liked all the family dynamics. It just wasn't a great movie. It was a very good movie. What else? Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2.
That was
just a joy.
It was just a joy. Yeah. Speaking of sequels, Paddington 2.
That's on your oh God.
Yep.
This is going to be our biggest.
Yeah, it's going to be our biggest maybe our biggest contention. There's another one.
Although realistically, if you're on this list, I mean, you can't be too upset about where something falls.
Right.
So,
I mean, my honorable mentions all could have fallen in my bottom half of my top 10.
Right.
It was a very, like, all of these are very close. Creed 2. I loved Creed 2. I thought it was great.
Creed 2 was good. I didn't think it was great.
Right. Upgrade. That was a shot of adrenaline, I feel.
Upgrade was fucking awesome. It's just an awesome time.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And this one, you really will not agree with me. Hotel Artemis.
Wow.
The more I think about Hotel Artemis, the more I'm like, I really liked that. I would watch that movie again now. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
I liked all the characters. I liked the world. I want to spend more time there. We probably never will.
Yeah.
But
that's sad that we won't either.
And my last, this would be like my number 11 on my list, would be Won't You, and those weren't in any sort of like order before. I just realized this one is so close to getting in. Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Great little documentary about Mr. Rogers.
Yep, really makes you wish that the man was still around.
It does,
and maybe just it would be nice if we had a Mr. Rogers type right now, given what's going on with society.
I would agree.
So,
but there will never be another.
There will never be another.
Point. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it.
Those are my honorable mentions.
How many did you have there, by the way?
I don't know, like 7.
Okay, I've got 10.
Oh, fuck.
So this is like my top 20, basically. No particular order for these, but the only one I'm seeing that matches is Upgrade. That also made my honorable mention.
Okay.
So we are going to have some interesting top 10 lists, I think.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man movie is in my honorable
Into the
mentions.
Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Okay.
Isle of Dogs.
Ooh, that was a close. That was almost an honorable mention.
I really liked Isle of Dogs. The Favorite, the one I recently saw.
Still haven't seen that.
Yeah,
so-
that's good.
Yeah.
And that one almost cracked it.
Okay.
That one almost cracked it. A Star is Born,
Ooh.
Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, that's like in your top 5 from that reaction.
That's one of the better movies of the year. That's
All right,
for sure.
Avengers.
Oh, you're just killing me.
Avengers.
Killing me here. You're killing me.
I'm just crossing out Alex's top 5, apparently. Annihilation.
What the fuck, man?
I know. It's crazy.
I am really
Did I
interested.
just go through 3 of your...
I'm not going to say where they rank, but most
All
of
3 of those are on.
Some of those are on.
Okay.
I'm not going to say which.
The Endless is in there.
Right.
Honorable mention. That also really hurt not putting it on the list.
That was a fantastic movie. Yeah.
One that I will be discussing when we record the next episode that I watched over the weekend was 8th Grade.
Okay.
I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, that was a really good movie.
Listen to that episode, and then Bad Times at the El Royale made my list. So that would be my great movies that didn't quite crack the top 10.
Right, yeah.
Now, do we want to go back and forth 10, 10, 9, 9, or do you want to just go with your list and then I go with mine? How do you want to do this?
Why don't you give your 10 and I'll give my number 10.
My 10 is American Animals.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
That is the heist movie where they are trying to steal a book from a college, and it is a really fun, like, based on a true story heist movie about a bunch of dumb idiots trying to steal this book. It reminds you of it's like Ocean's 11, only a bunch of kind of numbskulls are trying to pull off the heist.
Right.
And it's fun as hell. It's intercut with interviews with the real people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was great. That one, that is on a previous episode as well.
Yeah.
And I'll list on the website which episode you can find the full reviews we had of these as we go.
That's going to be a lot of work for you.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Come on.
All right.
But yeah, that's my number 10.
All right. So my number 10 is 8th Grade.
Okay.
I thought the main girl did a fantastic job. It is one of the most painful watches of the year.
It is.
Because you just want to grab this girl and you just want to say, it's going to be okay. Don't prioritize this. What are you doing? You just want to help her.
And her dad was great too.
Yeah. And that was, I believe...
Elsie Fisher was the girl's name.
She was phenomenal. Probably the most realistic depiction of, I would say, 8th Grade I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, well, there aren't many movies about middle school.
Right,
and that's the most awkward, weird time.
It is.
I was sitting there thinking like, ooh, I thought I had it bad. As a guy, I didn't have it nearly as bad as, a girl probably did. So
yeah.
But I thought it was great.
But I thought it spoke universally to the problems of being an outside child. I thought there were some really interesting little subtleties there. And Bo Burnham, I believe, is the guy who directed it.
Yeah.
And he's actually a YouTube personality. Started out on YouTube. This is his first
anything about him.
I don't either.
But he killed it.
But directorial debut, amazing. Really good first attempt. The only thing that dropped it down for me was I think the cinematography was a little lacking at points. So what's your number 9?
My number 9 is You Were Never Really Here with Joaquin
Phoenix.
Really short movie.
Yeah.
Gets straight to the point. Mm-hmm. Even though the point is, I mean, you could sit and analyze the shit out of the movie for hours after you're done watching it. But that was one where I was kind of blown away in the theater. Mm-hmm. You don't see much like it, I don't think. So that's one that would, especially if you're a Joaquin Phoenix fan, you got to check out. I think it's one of his best performances, even though he doesn't say much.
I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was a solid flick. And you're right. It is nice that it's so short. It does help the movie quite a bit. Number 9 for me is Green Book.
Okay.
I adore this movie. Viggo Mortensen is fantastic. I don't know what else to say. I mean, we really killed it with that review. That was a great movie.
It was. It
so
really
hard.
is fucking good.
It just pulls at your heartstrings, and it's hilarious. And it's I don't know what else to say. It's fantastic. So what's your number 8?
My number 8 is Suspiria.
Ooh.
Which the more I sit and think about it, the more I liked it.
Okay.
Because that's kind of funny because this one's too long one could argue.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fucking weird. It keeps you kind of like guessing as far as what's going on here.
Yes.
It's got awesome performances from Tilda Swinton and Dakota Johnson, I believe her name is.
Yeah.
Both of them are great.
Yeah.
If you like really weird, slow horror that's not, your typical bullshit, The Nun type fare.
I would call it scary. It
No.
wasn't scary to me, but
No,
you're
it's-
right. It's
It's
suspenseful.
unsettling in
Yes.
that weird, suspenseful way. But you're right. It's not scary.
Yeah.
It's not. But yeah. It
And
was,
it's got a good sense of style to it.
well, and that's just it, is I watched the original after I saw it, and I thought to myself, like, this is how I wish every remake was done. Like,
Yeah.
just, the basic plot is girl at dance academy, weird coven of witch characters are, hiding a secret.
Yeah.
Other than that, it is completely different.
Yep. For me, my number 8 was Sorry to Bother You.
Okay, that was a good one. That was really good.
We're talking about style. This movie just oozes style.
I didn't know you saw that. You must have seen that recently.
I saw it recently. And I didn't want to do the whole like the recent sheen that like a movie you saw recently that you liked has.
Sure.
But I was like, I cannot deny the style of this movie and the execution of nearly everything in it and the originality in which it's done. And
It goes crazy in the third act.
It gets absolutely insane.
It's like, it's funny because the metaphor is so obvious that one could even call it like lazy. But it doesn't matter because it's like, well, I've never seen anything like that before.
It like rides the line of like parody almost.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it also is just like, listen to me, you fucking idiots.
See, now that's funny because now that you brought that movie up, I feel like it belongs somewhere on my list. But yeah, I mean, I can't kick anything off that I have.
Right. I mean, this is the movie that makes the case for like those people who are like, shouting from the rooftops, diversity.
Right.
This guy came out of nowhere, first time director, black guy. I forget the director's name, but he just comes out of nowhere and he does this crazy, weird thing. And you're like, yes, more of this.
More of those. No shit. How good was Army Hammer? Dude?
Yeah.
I
Holy
him.
fuck. Like
He was my favorite.
Like this Steve Jobs stand-in. Unbelievable. I adore that movie.
What are we at here? 7?
7.
Leave No Trace.
Leave No Trace. I am a little shocked that this is on your list, but you liked that a lot more than I did.
I thought it was great.
It is a good movie.
Yeah, this one is mainly on my list because of Thomasin McKenzie, the little girl in it who played Tom in the movie.
Yeah, she was great.
Unbelievable, in my opinion, as far as like a teenage actress.
I
And
thought
Ben
she was-
Foster was great too.
I thought she was the best part of the movie.
Absolutely. Like, but yeah, I thought it was a, simple movie.
Yeah.
Really good though. She was so good. Like she's in my like best actress category list.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not that, there's only a few that really stand out to me, but like I would say she was as good as like Lady Gaga was to me.
But I would disagree.
Okay.
But that's okay.
God, she was so good.
She was good though.
Oh, and just it was such a brutal watch to watch her have to deal with, and it made you mad at the guy, even
Yeah.
though you felt sorry for him. The character like that you'd expect, who's kind of like giving them a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
The part, what was she was like some sort of government worker who
Yeah.
handled,
Yep.
torn up families or whatever. But yeah, normally that character's kind of like a menace. Who like you
understood why she was there.
she was doing her job and
Yep.
she's trying to help,
Yep.
but yeah, I thought that was really good. And that I couldn't leave that off my list. I really like that one.
I agree. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't agree because it's not on my list, but it's a good movie.
It is.
Number 7 for me is Overlord.
Overlord.
This movie came out of nowhere.
Okay, that shocks me that that's on the list.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it, but
my ass.
It was
this
really
is,
good.
This is B movie sci-fi at its fucking finest.
it is. It's like a perfect just popcorn flick.
Yeah. This is pump your fist, fuck yeah, dude movie. And anybody who wants to see, like, this may be the best version of that outside of there's one other movie that came out this year that was that. but this may be the best sci-fi version of
It
that.
was great.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah, so 6 for me is Alpha.
Alpha. Ooh.
I
Okay.
loved Alpha.
I like Alpha.
That was the second biggest surprise this year for me, because I thought we had seen the trailer. We were in the theater together
Yeah.
when the trailer came on. We
Yep.
both kind of looked at each other like, is this like National Geographic? Like what
Yeah,
the fuck is this?
Yeah, this is Caveman Homeward Bound.
Terrible marketing job by
Yes,
them, in
yeah.
my opinion.
I agree.
I was blown away by it. I thought it looked beautiful.
It
First of all,
it was a gorgeous looking
and
movie.
yeah, just I really like that actor who is in The Road. He's good in it. Kind of helms it all alone too.
Yeah.
I do have some issues with it, but it's one of those where it's like, fuck it, this is my top 10 list.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
That's what we should maybe have said at the top of this was it's a bit of a disclaimer. These are our top 10s.
Right.
It's not necessarily the best. These are the movies that we enjoyed
Our
the most.
favorite movies of the year.
Yes.
Cody Smith McPhee is his
Okay.
name, by the way.
Yeah,
But
he
yeah,
is.
I thought that movie was fucking phenomenal, and it was totally like unexpected.
Yes.
So that gives it bonus points in my opinion. Yeah, go ahead.
Number 6, right? That's
Yep.
where we're at. Searching.
Searching. That didn't even make my list at all.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, you feel for the father, you feel the desperation. Grace, I forget the actress's name from Will and Grace.
Oh, Deborah Messing.
Deborah Messing, yeah. She is great in the movie as well. The story is really well paced. Again, talking about originality and sort of storytelling and visual style. That's what this is. Really enjoyed that. We're talking about big surprises. This was a big surprise to me because I was like, I don't know if
I think I was more excited for this than you were.
You were.
And I wasn't as impressed with it as you were.
Yeah, because I watched the trailer and I'm like, maybe, but I don't know how you're going to do this. But
It's weird seeing him as like a dad now. John Cho or
John
whatever his
Cho,
name-
yeah. He knocks
Was
it out
great.
of the park.
Yep.
His moment where he breaks down is I feel like one of the more emotional scenes of the year.
Yeah,
Now-
it was it definitely tugged at the heartstrings. I thought the beginning especially.
Yes.
Like the first
Ooh.
part. Yeah.
Oh, that kills you. It just kills. It murders you. It's like Up, but all over
It
again.
is. It is like Up.
So top 5 then.
Top 5. Yep. So rounding out my top 5 or starting my top 5, Mandy. With
Oh,
old Nicolas Cage.
that movie. I mean, we're talking. This movie was funky as fuck.
Mandy was just a fucking.
It was a trip.
It was, yes. Go listen to our review of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not too much you can say other than it's fucking wild.
It is prime Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, prime Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Agreed. He does nothing but shit, it seems, these days. Apparently, there's another one I need to see. I forget the name of it, but apparently he has another good movie that came out like semi-recently.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he was born
Yeah.
to play this character.
This was fantastic.
It really is. So yeah, that one cracked my top 5. Surprisingly, it's just too fucking good.
My number 5, A Star Is Born.
All right.
It's probably the most emotional I was in a movie all year.
Okay.
Bradley Cooper kills it. Lady Gaga is amazing. The music is great. And this is another one of those where like the sort of like rockumentary kind of style movie. It's not necessarily fully that, but sort of the rise and fall of the rock star kind
Yeah,
of thing.
only it's like done way better than something like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right.
Even though that's a true story. So
Right.
that's a little different.
Right.
But
Or even I would say this is better than like the movie about the Doors.
yes, with Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, yeah. So I mean, it's probably the best version I've ever seen of that kind of movie.
It's funny because I still haven't gone back and watched the original versions of this.
I
wonder
haven't
how
either.
good they are.
Yeah,
They've got to be pretty good if they keep making it
I would
over
assume
and
so.
over.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was excellent.
yeah.
This would probably would have been the fiance's favorite movie of the year, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
4 for me, you've already mentioned, is Green Book. So we don't have to talk more about that, but I fucking loved it.
Yep.
I ate up every schmaltzy moment of its feel-goodedness. It was nice to see a movie about that topic that's like a hopeful, feel good movie.
Now, when you say that topic, you're talking about Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, Pittsburgh. Anything about Pittsburgh that,
I was a little disappointed with the Pittsburgh
I
personally.
loved that.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
And that joke, especially.
I loved all of it.
But yeah, one of my favorite performances,
Yep.
Viggo Mortensen. I can't recommend that one enough. And I feel like that one has like universal appeal. Unless
Yes.
you're like a tried and true Ku Klux Klan member, you could not
Right.
dislike the movie.
Right. I feel like with that movie, we always Vigo was great in it.
Yes.
And he is the starring role. But I do feel like
Mahershala deserves this.
I do feel like, okay, think about this for a second. The Oscars, God, what's his name? Guy who's in A Star Is Born, the brother.
Oh, yeah. Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott gets a nomination for Best Supporting Actor, but Mahershala Ali doesn't for this one. Mahershala did way more.
He did more.
And
See,
I feel like
I feel like him and Vigo would be considered for actor though, not supporting. I feel like they kind of hold the same.
you might be right in that regard. They might have been too
And Sam
much.
Elliott was amazing.
Well, yeah, but Sam Elliott has like 4 scenes or 3 scenes.
Yeah, but he's so good.
He was good. I'm not saying he's not good.
He's so good.
But anyways, what were we on?
I just did 4. Green
right.
Book.
So number 4 for me is Annihilation.
Annihilation. All right.
This movie annihilated my brain.
Yes, it does. My brain hasn't recovered.
This is one of my favorite things in all of sci-fi, which is you throw out this idea and it's really just this giant metaphor and it's like a Rubik's Cube. Can you figure this fucking thing out? And I'm still trying to figure this movie out.
Which is fine.
It's awesome. It's some of the best visuals. Yeah, I loved this movie. I thought Natalie Portman was probably at her best in this movie, maybe outside of like Black Swan. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed
Yeah,
that
I
movie.
really liked it too. That's why it was on my
Honorable mentions.
honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Can't believe it didn't, it maybe being early hurt it. I don't know.
That's the thing is like I tried to remember how much I liked the movies when I saw them.
Yep. All right. Well, okay. So here's where it gets really hard for me because all of these 3 could be one.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, just 5 minutes ago while we were talking, I decided to rank these
Yeah.
and I'm still having trouble with this.
Okay.
Number 3, I am going to go with Paddington 2.
Okay.
This movie is just a pure delight.
It is a delight.
I get sucked in and I get, teary-eyed and weepy at all the points I'm supposed to. Every co-star of Mr. Paddington,
Yep.
Paddington Bear, is just fully on board with
Yep.
the delivery of their material. Brendan Gleeson in this is like the chef at the prison.
Yep.
Just
Knuckles-
really fun.
Knuckles McGinty.
Knuckles McGinty. You've got that little twerp from Game of Thrones. He's a little slime bag in
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. He's in there. Hugh Grant as the Phoenix Buchanan, the washed up actor.
Yeah.
Who's just, pompous. And I like how they poke jabs at actors in the movie.
Yep.
I thought the action scenes were pretty well filmed. Like we were talking about, he's going to do that sci-fi movie or whatever.
Yeah.
And I watched it again over the weekend, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay,
This guy's
I'm
got
on board with his visual style. The way the camera moves, it's
Yes.
very good.
He's I think he's prime for a blockbuster type movie.
Sure.
Because his style is like it's indie, but it's like perfected and it's very polished.
This movie is like if Wes Anderson made a kids movie.
Yes.
That's what it
that's
reminds
actually
me
a
of.
very apt
Yes.
comparison. Yeah, and I would say about this movie, and I didn't include it on my list, but the nice thing about it was all the things were set up really well. There's good like setup and payoff, but it's not too predictable in its setup and payoff.
Right. And it doesn't treat its audience like they're idiots.
Yes.
That's something key about both of these movies is
Yeah.
like the jokes. It's not that it's not like Shrek where like there's a double entendre that's like inappropriate,
Right.
but you can't help but just like fall into it anyways. I mean, it's cute. It's funny. There's one scene in it with a pop-up book.
Yeah.
That's so creatively done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't recommend it enough. If you haven't seen these movies, see them. In my opinion, they are the cream of the crop as far as children's fare goes over
Right.
the last like 5 or so years. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my 3. I hate it. It could be 1, but
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse
number 3
is my number 3.
Marvel shill.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there are going to be people be like, "Oh, you put a fucking comic book movie." It's my fucking
Aquaman's
list.
number 2 then,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you nailed it. This movie is fucking great.
It is.
It's stylistically, it's amazing. It moves at a breezy clip. You know, great setups and payoffs. Nice original takes on some of these characters. I could see this movie, you know, once a week and be fine for probably like the next 6 months. So yeah,
It is pretty fucking good.
It's pretty fucking good.
Now, have you gone back and seen it a second time or
I
no?
almost went this weekend.
Yeah, there's
family
not- well,
family
you've-
went to go
when
and
you've
see it.
seen everything, it's like, fuck it, go back and see it again.
Yeah.
My number 2, which I think is probably the best movie of the year. Actually, my number 1 is probably what I think out of these 3 is the least best movie of the year. Number 1 is just my favorite.
Right. Yeah.
But number 2 is Mission Impossible Fallout.
I knew it was going to be on there somewhere.
Yes. Fucking great. Just loved it. Just fucking, you know, balls to the wall action the whole way through. Not a dull moment in it.
He's just got a big crush on that Ethan Hunt guy.
I do love me some Ethan.
Yeah.
James Bond is now, I mean, he's got to earn my affection back after all this nonsense.
Well, it's
But
that
yeah.
hair. It's that hair.
But we do have James Bond getting the who's directing not him. Who's directing the next Bond movie? The guy who did
Kerry Joji Fukunaga.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that.
I think it's going to be good. I really do. I'm
really
excited
for that. But yeah, so that's my number 2. If you like action movies, that's the movie this year.
It's one of the most solid action it has some of the most solid action sequences ever put to film.
I would agree.
The stuff that doesn't work for me is the stuff that's not the action stuff. But
God damn it, Alex. Can you just hold off during this? This is supposed to be a joyful time.
if he likes it, he likes it. Let him like it, people.
Thank you.
My number 2 is The Endless.
Oh, number 2.
Yeah. I loved this movie.
Number 2 is The Endless.
This movie, these guys are
I know, they're the best.
They're fucking great. I wish them nothing but the best. This movie deserves to be in more conversations than it's in, because it is a way better film than I think anybody gives it credit for.
Nobody saw it.
No,
Like
exactly.
nobody saw this, did they?
Yeah, nobody saw
Right.
this. And all these, professional reviewers who make their top 10 lists, it's not on any of those, and it's better than most of those movies.
And I'm pretty sure it's high up on like top 3 or top 5 on every like top 5 sci-fi movies of the year. Like
Yes.
when people compile the reviews and whatever.
Yeah.
Like Rotten Tomatoes, it's up there.
It's on Rotten Tomatoes, right? Or not Rotten. It's on Netflix right now.
Is it really?
It is.
So
if you
go
guys
watch it.
Yeah, go watch it. It's a great fucking watch.
Yep.
I don't think
one of our most listened to episodes, by the way, was The Endless.
Yeah, that's true. I cannot recommend this highly enough. I want these guys to I want them to be like the new like Christopher Nolan's, because they're so fucking good.
You don't want them to go through that like Metallica Load era where they,
I suppose.
you know what I mean? Like,
I suppose.
Once they get too big, it's scary.
We'll see. I don't know. They seem like pretty smart guys. But what's your number 1?
My number 1, you guessed it, Hereditary.
Yep.
Is my number 1 movie of the year. It's my favorite. I do notice that two of my top 2 movies aren't on your favorite or
Honorable mentions.
That's disgusting. Got to get your head examined. But no, I got to be positive during this. Toni Collette. Fucking the atmosphere, the metaphorical, the cinematography, the fact that this guy is a first-time director.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see what he does next.
Right.
It's my number 1 movie.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to you.
It is great. It is fucking great.
It's a good time. I still think it's a solid movie. I think it's very well executed.
Yeah, and make sure you listen to that one. That discussion on that movie is far and away our most popular episode, I believe.
Well, it's one of those times where you've got somebody who absolutely loves something, and then you've got somebody else who's like, it's well done, but I don't like it really that much. Which is, I guess, if you want to listen to that for like an hour, it's a pretty decent
It is.
listen.
It's a full hour of just Hereditary. Now, yeah, this one worked better for me than like The Witch or what was it? It Comes at Night or whatever the fuck that other one was with Joel Edgerton.
Yeah.
No, this one worked way better than those two. Those are the two that it's been compared to because they're kind of slow burn.
Right.
You know, whatever. But yeah, I thought this one was fucking fantastic. What's your number one?
My number one is Infinity War. I could not lie to myself.
God.
I could not lie to myself.
Why did I even ask?
We feel the same way about each other's number one.
Hey, no, yours made it on my list of.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Now, and I thought Infinity War was great.
It's one of those times where I'm like, this is what it's like to read a fucking comic book. This is the Marvel Universe on screen, and it felt like the most complete version I've ever seen.
It was good.
And I feel like all the characters are given their due. The cinematography is some of the best that we've seen in the Marvel Universe. Thanos is a great villain. The CGI.
Thanos is the best.
CGI is fantastic outside of a few shots of Mark Ruffalo in the iron suit.
That doctor, if you might have made my top 10 list if I liked the Hulk in it.
Probably.
I've got beef with this jokey Hulk.
I'm expecting
this bullshit.
I'm expecting Endgame.
Sideshow clown Hulk.
You know, here's the thing. The Hulk hasn't been a joke for that long. Like, he was a little jokey in Ragnarok, but before that, he was pretty serious and pretty dour and all that shit. So, you know, we've got one movie where he's a joke, which is just going to make it all the more awesome when he comes back and kicks ass.
It's never going to happen. They have too much fun. We got two movies where he's a joke. He was a joke in Thor.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
He was a little jokey in Thor. He's got some scenes in there that are like the scene where he's in the Quinjet and he's like, "No, Banner," and he's just like, you know, like he's literally fighting himself, transforming back into Banner.
Okay, yeah, that's the stuff I like, but we still have him sitting there in green form, like joking with Thor.
I like that. I mean, Taika executed that shit well.
It's bad.
Right.
Like I laughed.
Right.
It's just not what I want
right.
from my Hulk. I had one like Hulk movie that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Where it was just like the material was taken seriously.
Yeah.
And it has not been since.
I feel like in Avengers he was treated pretty well, and I feel like in
that's true.
Age of Ultron he was treated. Now, Age of Ultron is a messy fucking movie.
Yeah, that's like one of the worst Marvel movies, I would say.
It's in the bottom 5. They've got 20 movies now, so it's in next
year you can expect Avengers. What's it called?
Endgame.
Endgame. That will be number 1 next year.
It might be. I don't know. I mean, the thing is like
people.
It
will be.
The thing is like I said, all of these top 5 are sort of interchangeable for me as far as like what could be number 1.
Well, okay, here's a question for you. What would they have to do like to make this bad?
To make what?
Like, like I go in and I see a new Superman movie. Like my first viewing, I always kind of enjoy it because it's Superman. Like, what would they have to do to fuck this up?
I don't know, probably throw in a dance number. Like if Cap starts dancing.
I would love that. Now that's all I want.
Yeah.
But what if it was good? What if it was a good dance number?
I mean, there was that Star Spangled Man in the first Cap movie. It's a solid fucking movie.
It is great. It's more than solid. The thing that it gets the most points from me for is the fact that they even pulled it off at this point. I mean, what a fucking crazy task,
I mean, what do they say? 23 main characters? That's astonishing. And they all feel real, and they all still feel like themselves, even though all these guys go from different director to different director.
No, they completely threaded it all together in
I can't believe that the
perfect way.
And I can't believe that the humor worked, and it still got dour at times, and it had, I mean, we'll see how the stakes do in the next movie, but I mean, at least as far as an emotional punch, it has that, so... It was good. It's one of the best of the Marvel Universe and my favorite of the year. Yeah.
There we go, folks.
Yep.
Alex picked a Marvel movie. two of the top three. I'm surprised Venom didn't make it in there.
Yeah. Well, I put a little asterisk next to the
What
Spider-Man
about
movie.
Thor Ragnarok?
That was one of my favorite
So
movies
where
of
was
last
that?
year.
That didn't even make the...
That came out last year.
Oh,
that
it was 2017?
That was November.
Ah.
So my real question is where was Thor Ragnarok on your honorable mentions if you thought it came out this year?
I wouldn't have put it there.
You wouldn't have put Ragnarok in honorable mentions for this year?
No, because Avengers had its spot, like as far as
you can have more than one Marvel movie. Every movie is separate. If it's good, it's good. Anyways, this is running way too long. So thank you for listening to this. I would love to hear what other people had for their top 10s.
Yeah, for sure. And don't forget to subscribe to our show and rate us on iTunes if that's where you're listening. Thanks you very much.
Guys. Bye.